The Panama authorities were looking initially for drugs. This is a ship that is owned by North Korea, flies the North Korean flag. It's a very old ship, and it's been on lists in the past as perhaps carrying banned goods, which is why they singled it out when it tried to access the Panama Canal. But within it yesterday, they discovered a container, and in that, what they claimed to be missile systems. They hinted yesterday that perhaps there was rather more on the ship than they had found at that time, and it seems they were right. I'll go through it for you because it really is quite remarkable. Two anti-aircraft missile units are on that ship somewhere, yet to be found. 9 missiles, presumably for those anti-aircraft missile units, including parts and spares. 15 jet engines. And perhaps most surprisingly of all, to go with those jet engines, 2 MiG fighter jets. Somewhere inside the hull of that ship are 2 MiG fighter jets, not quite in working order, which is why the Cubans have decided to ship them to North Korea, because they want apparently to get them serviced. The Cuban authorities issued a statement earlier on this morning in which they gave us that list. They say they're perfectly entitled to ship equipment around the world. They need this sort of equipment to defend themselves against the Americans. And of course, the only place where they're going to be able to get this sort of kit serviced is another country which uses effectively obsolete Soviet-era kit, and that country is North Korea, which is, if you believe the Cuban authorities, why it was on board this ship trying to get through the Panama Canal and going across to North Korea. Now, of course, several UN resolutions have been broken by doing this, not necessarily by Cuba, but certainly by North Korea, because there is a long-standing resolution signed unanimously by the United Nations which bans North Korea from importing, exporting, trading in any sort of large-scale equipment like this. So regardless of the fact that they didn't own it, again, if we can believe the Cuban authorities, regardless of the fact they didn't own it, the fact is it was on board a North Korean ship heading towards North Korea. That alone, according to the United Nations, breaks resolutions.